exploring the life and legacy of Plutarco Elias Calles, a tale of triumphs and struggles. Ladies and gentlemen, today we embark on a journey through the life of Plutarco Elias Calles, a man whose story embodies the complex dynamics of power, adversity, and social change. From his early days to his influential role in Mexican history, let's delve into his life's narrative. Number 1. Family origins and early years. Plutarco Elias Calles, born on September 25, 1877, in Guaymas, Sonora, emerged from a lineage of Sephardic Jewish descent. His paternal ancestors arrived in Mexico in the late 18th century, amassing wealth as landowners and miners. Sadly, a significant portion of their fortune was lost during the tumultuous times of that era's constant conflicts. Tragedy struck Calles at a young age, as he lost his mother when he was only 3, and his alcoholic father subsequently abandoned him. He was raised by his caring aunt and uncle, Maria Josefa Campuzano and Juan Bautista Calles, adopting his uncle's surname, which would later become an integral part of his identity. Number 2. Educational pursuits and early career. Calles' thirst for knowledge led him to become a certified teacher in 1893. Initially known as Plutarco Calles, he solidified his identity by embracing his paternal surname and became Plutarco Elias Calles in 1897. He continued his education, joining the ranks of educators at the Sonora College in Hermosillo. During these formative years, Calles' interests extended beyond education. He explored various occupations, from agriculture to managing a flour mill and a hotel. His dynamic background eventually set the stage for his entry into the world of politics. Number 3. Political engagement and opposition. Around 1901, Plutarco Elias Calles delved into the realm of politics, opposing the Porfirian governor of Sonora, Rafael Izabal. His political journey found its footing as he aligned himself with the anti-Huerta forces following the assassination of President Madero. He joined the ranks of Álvaro Obregón's army, gradually rising through the ranks due to his organizational prowess. Number 4. Championing the constitutional movement. Calles' unwavering loyalty to Venustiano Carranza marked a significant chapter in his life. As he engaged in the fight against Victoriano Huerta, Calles earned military promotions and influential roles, including becoming the military commander of Hermosillo. His commitment to the constitutionalist movement further solidified his standing as a key figure in Mexico's revolution. Number 5. Transformational governance in Sonora. Earning the governorship of Sonora in 1917, Calles enacted progressive policies. He initiated land distribution, implemented an 8-hour workday, and established a minimum wage. Notably, he attempted to establish a Mexican church to compete with the Catholic Church, though his efforts in this area were met with limited success. Number 6. Shifting alliances and political ascent. As the revolutionary landscape evolved, Calles demonstrated his flexibility and adaptability. He supported Obregón's presidency, aligning himself with the Plan of Agua Prieta, which marked a turning point in Mexican politics. His roles ranged from Secretary of War and Navy to Secretary of Government, further cementing his influence in national affairs. Number 7. Church opposition and candidacy. Calles' pursuit of the presidency wasn't without its challenges. Defining himself as a champion of workers, labor, and gradual reform, his candidacy faced open resistance from the Catholic Church. Desiring to embrace the ideals of social justice and empowerment for the labor force, Calles' vision clashed with the Catholic hierarchy's interests. The Church's appeal to President Obregón underscored their unease with Calles' candidacy, leading to a notable clash of ideals. Number 8. Presidential election and political struggles. Despite the odds, Calles secured the presidency in July 1924. However, his candidacy did not sit well with Adolfo de la Huerta, who initiated the Huertista revolution in response. This clash marked a tumultuous period, with de la Huerta attempting to seize power by force. CALLE, committed to his cause, joined forces with Obregón to quell the rebellion, with support from the United States. CALLE's victory over de la Huerta paved the way for his presidency, allowing him to embark on an era of transformative change. Number 9. Modernizing the economy. Before assuming office, CALLE embarked on a journey abroad to France, Germany, and the United States. Amid health concerns, he conveyed a narrative of battling osteomyelitis tuberculosis, undergoing spinal surgery in Berlin. His presidential inauguration on November 30, 1924, marked a turning point for Mexico's economic landscape. CALLE prioritized public investment, spearheading the establishment of a state-owned sector and founding the Bank of Mexico. This catalyzed a modern banking system and propelled infrastructural projects, including highways and irrigation initiatives. Number 10. Legal innovations and social progress. CALLE's presidency witnessed an array of legal reforms that catalyzed social progress. His commitment to women's rights was evident through his modification of the Civil Code, affording equal legal status to women and natural children. Divorce became a recognized right, and the concept of collective bargaining gained traction through the Regional Confederation of Mexican Workers. CALLE's transformative vision extended to the education system, where he emphasized a secular, nationalist, and technical approach. Number 11. Educational transformation and media influence. As a former teacher, CALLE championed education reform. He expanded technical and rural schools, fostering theoretical and practical learning. His leadership initiated a shift towards a state-controlled educational system, from primary to university levels. CALLE's influence extended to media control, a novel move for his time. He strategically altered newspaper leadership and content alignment, aiming to synchronize media narratives with his government's goals. Number 12. Infrastructure advancements and international relations. CALLE's impact extended to infrastructure and international diplomacy. He facilitated the construction of roads connecting Mexico City to Puebla and Pachuca, along with significant dam projects. His diplomatic approach was defined by maintaining relations with the Soviet Union, a move that underscored Mexico's pursuit of non-alignment and independence. He orchestrated the transfer of independence heroes' remains to a monument, symbolizing national unity and honoring Mexico's heritage. Number 13. Sovereign decisions and U.S. relations. CALLE's presidency involved navigating intricate relationships with foreign powers. His decision to transfer the remains of independence heroes demonstrated his commitment to Mexico's sovereignty. He also tackled challenges posed by the United States, successfully resolving conflicts through diplomatic means. His leadership represented a period of strategic maneuvering and decisive actions in international affairs. Number 14. Oil and the struggle for sovereignty. CALLE's presidency encountered intense disputes over oil resources. He championed a law that solidified Mexico's ownership of its subsoil, including oil deposits, in the face of resistance from American petroleum companies. This stance led to accusations of being a Bolshevik, but CALLE stood firm in safeguarding Mexico's sovereignty. His administration successfully negotiated and resolved the crisis through diplomacy, securing Mexico's rights. Confrontations, crises, and transition, the CALLE era unraveled. Let's delve further into the era of Plutarco Elias CALLE, examining the critical events that unfolded during his presidency and the eventual transition of power. Number 15. Church-state conflict and religious policies. In February 1926, tensions between the Mexican government and the Catholic Church escalated dramatically. The 1917 Constitution had introduced measures that brought the Church under government control, causing ongoing friction. CALLE, determined to assert his vision of a secular state, sponsored the establishment of the Mexican Catholic Apostolic Church. The Archbishop of Mexico, José Mora y del Rio, openly challenged the government, leading to a series of church closures and priest expulsions. The conflict intensified, exacerbated by perceived ties between the church's stance and American interests in Mexico's oil industry. Number 16, Repression and Coercive Measures. As the situation escalated, CALLE ordered the closure of temples and the imprisonment of priests. Coercive measures were taken against clergy and leaders of pro-church movements. The so-called Ley CALLE, enacted in July 1926, placed legal restrictions on church activities, aligning with CALLE's objective of curbing the church's influence. Number 17, Papal Intervention and Popular Response. Pope Pius XI addressed the Mexican conflict in a 1926 encyclical, further intensifying the situation. With papal backing, the Catholic hierarchy suspended religious services, triggering widespread protests from both supporters and opponents. The papal encyclical Iniquis Afflictisque, released in November 1926, condemned the Mexican government's actions and criticized its policies toward the Church. Number 18, the Cristero War and its limitations. The conflict evolved into the Cristero War, marked by atrocities committed by both sides. The government military engaged in temple bombings, clerical killings, and repression, while the Cristeros carried out violent acts of their own. The Cristero forces, however, faced military limitations, with fragmented organization, limited weaponry, and economic constraints. Number 19, Prolonged Struggle and Negotiations. While the Cristeros lacked the means to overthrow the government, they demonstrated resilience in prolonged resistance. CALLE's presidency concluded in 1928, with Emilio Portes Gil taking office, signaling a shift in power. The new government initiated negotiations, ending the Cristero War in June 1929. The conflict had left around 100,000 casualties in its wake. Number 20, Obregón's re-emergence and political dynamics. An intriguing aspect of the CALLE's presidency was his coexistence with Álvaro Obregón, a prominent and influential figure. CALLE initially attempted to distance himself from Obregón's influence but ultimately recognized his power within the military. Obregón, after leaving office, managed to secure a constitutional amendment enabling presidential re-election for non-consecutive terms. Number 21, Supporting Obregón's re-election. The move by Obregón to seek re-election split Mexico into two factions, those in favor of re-election and those who vehemently opposed it. The dynamics between CALLE and Obregón's supporters and the anti-re-election movement painted a complex political landscape. Despite CALLE's preference for Luis Morones, Obregón's re-election campaign gained momentum due to the support of Congress and the military. Number 22, A Tragic End for Obregón. Obregón's re-election victory in 1928, with no opponents due to their untimely deaths, marked a significant shift in Mexican politics. However, Obregón's triumph was short-lived. In July 1928, before his second term could begin, he was assassinated by José de León Torol, a Cristero sympathizer. The nation was left shocked and mourning, and this event marked the end of Obregón's political career. The legacy of Plutarco Elias CALLE, Triumphs and Tragedies. Number 23, The Power Transition and the Maximato Era. Following the assassination of Álvaro Obregón, CALLE assumed the role of Jefe Máximo of the revolution. This shift led to the Maximato era, spanning the interim presidency of Emilio Portes Gil, and the start of Lázaro Cárdenas' tenure. Speculations circulated that CALLE had orchestrated Obregón's murder, fueling rumors and suspicions. Number 24, Organizing the National Revolutionary Party. CALLE wasted no time after leaving office and began organizing the National Revolutionary Party, PNR. The aim was to unify and provide political direction to various revolutionary groups. Pascual Ortiz Rubio became the first presidential candidate chosen by the PNR, succeeding Portesquil in 1930. However, Gonzalo Escobar's rebellion prompted CALLE's return to power as Secretary of War and Marine. Number 25, continued influence during the Maximato. Throughout the Maximato, CALLE maintained a prominent role, exercising control over Presidents Portesquil, Ortiz Rubio, and Abelardo Rodriguez. Notably, his influence extended to Lázaro Cárdenas' early presidency. Holding positions such as Director of the Bank of Mexico and Secretary of Finance and Public Credit, CALLE remained a key figure in Mexican politics. Number 26, wielding influence across domains. During the Maximato, CALLE exerted his influence across all spheres of power. Offering advice and guidance to civilians and military personnel, he shaped decisions at various levels of the government. He often engaged in public events, making provocative statements and receiving attention from admirers and critics alike. Number 27, shaping the youth for revolution. In a significant statement, CALLE expressed the need to shape the minds of children and youth, solidifying their allegiance to the revolution. This declaration sparked debates over the potential establishment of a totalitarian educational system, which the opposition saw as an attempt to control ideological narratives. Number 28, growing discontent with Cárdenas. As the Maximato progressed, tensions arose between CALLE and Lázaro Cárdenas. CALLE criticized Cárdenas' agrarian policies and commented on the setbacks caused by constant strikes. These remarks displeased Cárdenas, prompting him to remove high-ranking callistas from their positions. Number 29, accusations of treason and decline. CALLE faced accusations of treachery from the left-wing faction of the Senate. While in the United States, a rumor circulated that he was plotting against Cárdenas, leading to his expulsion from the PNR. CALLE's past actions, including his military involvement and amassing wealth, came under scrutiny, tarnishing his reputation. Number 30, exile and humiliation. In April 1936, Cárdenas ordered CALLE's departure from Mexico on health grounds. CALLE's exile in San Diego, California, lasted over 5 years. He was met with repudiation from the masses, with a large public demonstration expressing support for Cárdenas. This marked the end of CALLE's role as Jefe Máximo. Number 31, return, passing, and legacy. CALLE returned to Mexico in 1942, a few years before his death in 1945. Manuel Ávila Camacho succeeded Cárdenas in the presidency, and CALLE attended the ceremony during his return. He passed away due to health complications in 1945, leaving behind a mixed legacy that profoundly influenced Mexican history. As we reflect on the life and times of Plutarco Elias Calles, we recognize his significant impact on Mexican politics, his strategic maneuvering, and the controversies that surrounded his leadership. Calles' story is a complex one, marked by both commendable achievements and divisive actions. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, make sure to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We'll be back soon with more curiosities from history.